Hello everyone, good morning. Sorry, my voice is a bit, as I say, morning voice. I have not spoken all morning, so it's just now that I'm talking. And so good morning everybody. Welcome back over here. I know I was here last Sunday morning to give a quick explanation about the Vedic sound mantra healing session that I'm doing over here being in London. And I'm back again today morning, Sunday morning, for another chat. And today I'm going to be talking about simple home remedies for gut health. I do know that gut health, so the moment you use the term gut, it is the whole of the digestive tract. That is how I see it. And of course, even from the point of view of my background in terms of modern medicine, of course, I practice Ayurveda predominantly, but my background is that in gastroenterology, so that is the area that I worked in. So trying to put it all together, and from an Ayurvedic and allopathy point of view, looking at gut health. So that is what we'll be talking about today. So do bear in mind, everything that I'm going to be going through today is everyday ailments, illnesses that, people experience and suffer, and how to get rid of that. Because sometimes those simple that we might see as, oh, that is only simple indigestion, simple acidity, or, simple heartburn, but something that we see as, oh, very basic, simple, if it is not corrected, may lead to bigger illnesses and conditions. And hence, whenever you see an imbalance or any kind of change, it is very important that you correct it then and there. I have my very, very good friend Mayur Jain from India saying hello. Hello Mayur. Hi, how are you? Long time. I've not seen or chatted to you for a long time, but I'm sure we will catch up. Now looking into gut health, of course, you may have seen that, just to give you a short background as to why for us in Ayurveda, the GI tract is so important. But then even otherwise, do bear in mind that, I know in today's modern medicine, they have now, if you want to call it, proven it, or they have shown that there is a big connection between your gut and brain. They call it the gut-brain connection, meaning bearing in mind what may be happening in your GI tract will ultimately affect your brain, and through that it'll affect the whole body. And I'm going to smile and giggle about it, because coming from an Ayurvedic background, this was something that was explained or talked about thousands of years ago. And that is what then we followed in Ayurveda. And that is what we believe, that if something is going wrong in your GI tract, then it will definitely affect your nervous system, the brain, and from there the whole body. And why? Trying to explain that. Do bear in mind, according to Ayurveda, both the GI tract or gut, the colon with the large intestine bit, is Vata part of the body, it is Vata functioning. But interestingly, even the brain and the nervous system is also Vata related. It is a Vata functioning of the body. So from that point of view, you will see that it is that connection between, so anytime something were to go wrong in the colon, it will affect your brain, because it's that kind of cascading phenomenon. And it's interesting, I'll also mention one more thing now, that if anyone, I know there are a few Ayurvedic practitioners I've seen that, they've just joined in, practitioners, therapists, yoga teachers. Hello, hi Priya, I've just seen my friend Priya also join in. That if you ever see that someone is suffering from bone-related conditions, it can be osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, gout, whatever it may be. Don't just focus on correcting bone illnesses, go back to the gut or GI tract, because there's a big connection between your colon and the bones, because it is in the colon that calcium absorption takes place, or according to Ayurveda, it is that calcium metabolism that happens through the colon or gut, and then of course through that then it affects the whole body. I also want to say something now, because the way I'm sat, there's a lot of sun in front of me and a lot of sun over here behind me, so there's a lot of glare reflection on my face. It's not that my face looks weird. If I were to move tiny bit away, you will see that there's more over there. So apologies beforehand if I look a bit weird when I'm talking, just to clarify that. Anyway, so yes, when it comes to bone health, brain health, look into your gut, so GI tract, very important to correct that. Okay, so from that point of view, now coming back to understanding what are the simple home remedies that we can apply or follow. Someone has asked, is that the same with, yes, absolutely. If there is inflammation in the joint, that is things like rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, in Ayurveda, we start the kind of protocol or therapy application through the colon. And it's amazing as to how much you will see that change or difference. Okay, so coming back to the GI tract, do bear in mind in Ayurveda we also have this one other saying that just the way the earth revolves around the sun, our own lives revolve around our digestive fires. And where is this digestive fire located? It is in our gut. And I remember when I was studying Ayurveda, my professor said that we are nothing but an earthworm, because we've got this big long tube inside us, bear in mind, from the mouth to the anus. We are an earthworm, but nothing but extra bits that we have is a big head, 2 arms and 2 legs. So do remember that every time you think about your GI tract, because earthworms, what do? They'll take some, earth and mud, they'll digest, and then that is what is excreted out. Literally, that is what is happening to us. So every time you eat something, you drink something, become mindful and connect that to what effect it may be having on your gut, or importantly, if you've got any gut issues. So yes, people suffer from acidity, ulcers, acid reflux, heartburn. Yes, they say, oh yes, I suffer from that. But yet, they continue eating certain foods like aubergines or tomatoes or have crisps. They never seem to understand that connection that yes, that is actually what is causing my gut ailment or illness. So first thing, becoming mindful of what goes into our mouth, because through that itself, we can change a lot. So anyway, so coming back to what I said earlier, bear in mind, for us, the GI tract is at central location. If you don't correct things over there, it will affect everything else. So talking about it, yes, what are we trying to do? We are trying to stimulate our digestive fire on a more regular basis to help with your gut health too. But now when we talk about stimulating our digestive fire, yes, we can do loads on a regular basis, but something very simple that you can do first thing in the morning to actually help feel awake, rejuvenated, but also stimulate your digestive fire or regulate it, but also help with everything in your GI tract is after you brush your teeth is tongue scraping. Now this tongue scraping that we talk about Ayurvedically, not our trendy Ayurveda. Yes, you may be using a tongue scraper and everything on top of the tongue. Now, why are we using this tongue scraping? Do bear in mind, again, and I'm going to go a bit around the, as they say, trees or whatever for you to understand what I'm trying to say is, do bear in mind that we as adults and individuals or human beings, we are very fortunate because we can look at our bodies and, well, I would use the word self-diagnosis, but it might not directly be self-diagnosis, but becoming self-aware of what is happening in the body. And Ayurveda says that the moment you wake up in the morning, first we look out through the window to understand how the weather is, because based on that, the kind of foods that you may eat during that day may change. But the other important thing is, as you are brushing your teeth or anything, before that, have a look at your tongue, meaning if you have a white coating on the tongue, that is the first thing you need to correct, because that white coating indicates that your digestive fire is going out of balance, or there is what we say ama or toxins in the body, or something is happening in your GI tract that needs to be corrected ASAP. So if there is a white coating on the tongue, yes, we talk about tongue scraping, but do bear in mind, when we say tongue scraping, it is just not about locally getting rid of the white coating from top of the tongue. That's not really going to do anything to the GI tract, So what is it going to do? So when we say tongue scraping, when you clean your tongue, of course, me being Indian, and I know I've got a few Indian friends and Indian people over here, you have to tongue scrape up until the point where you feel that gagging reflex or that retching action. It's like, oh, you almost want to throw up, because you're going to the back of the tongue to stimulate the vagus nerve. Stimulating the vagus nerve is very important, because that vagus nerve goes completely down through the esophagus or behind it to the stomach to help regulate your digestive enzymes, your stomach enzymes, but Ayurvedically stimulate your digestive fire. So every morning when you are brushing your teeth, remember to tongue scrape, or that, gagging reflex action. Do it, try it for the next 1 week, and I know I always use the word promise you, because I know it works. Whatever gut illnesses, imbalances that you may be experiencing, they will start improving. It can be mouth ulcers, it can be acidity, heartburn, even constipation, even anorexia, bloating, gases. For all of it, proper tongue scraping in the morning is needed. So that's the first thing for you to do in the morning for overall gut health. Now, second very important thing is, as soon as you wake up, once you've brushed your teeth, cleaning your tongue, everything, a glass of warm hot water. Someone has asked a question, before brushing teeth or after? No, always after brushing teeth. So when I do it, I will brush teeth, gargle everything, mouthwash, like everything, and then after that, tongue scraping. That usually comes at the end. Why at the end? Because through that you're also then removing out all that congestion or mucus, it all comes out. So towards the end is important. Do you only scrape the top of the tongue? No, just not top. You have to go till the we say uvula, that is your small tongue behind, or literally behind, where it's like that kind of action of, oh yes, something is coming out. So back of the tongue, top of the tongue, but going behind the tongue is also very important. Okay, so that is first thing, tongue scraping. But then along with that, after that, then comes first thing in the morning, a glass of warm water. Do bear in mind, it's not just sipping. Now there are two things. We drink down warm water first thing in the morning, but then rest of the day we are sipping on warm water. Because a lot of people do ask me, oh, but I've heard that you need to keep sipping water, you can't drink down. Yes, that's correct. But first thing in the morning, you need to drink it down, because that drinking action is like flushing action. When your plumbing, maybe your kitchen sink or your toilet might get blocked, what do? We put lots of warm water to completely flush it out. You use your, what do we call it, drain unblocker, so to speak. So over here, that warm water that you drink first thing in the morning will completely flush everything out, even up to the point that if you're suffering from heartburn, acid reflux, it pushes all of that down. If you've got bloating, gases, it helps to correct it, because that warm water mixes with that excess gases and pushes it out of the body. If there is tendency towards constipation, it will help to correct it. Or even if there is tendency towards loose stools, diarrhea, because water is alkaline, it is making that acid, it's changing that acid status in the GI tract to becoming more alkaline. So that is how warm water first in the morning, drink down. So just, I call it my Ayurvedic morning ritual. It hardly takes 10-15 minutes to do all of this. So drinking down warm water. So that's the other important bit to do first thing in the morning to help with overall gut health. So these are the first few things that you do. It will help your whole body. And of course, after that, after your warm water, you can have your ginger lemon tea. You can have something warm to drink. I know many of us, being Indian, I like to have my chai. So I'll add all the herbs and spices to my chai before I make it. So you can then continue with the day accordingly, the way you want to. So that is the first thing in the morning. Now the rest of the bits that I'm going to talk about is various ailments that we all may be suffering from. It can be mouth ulcers, anorexia, acid reflux. So I'll give you 1 or 2 suggestions for all of these, so that literally you can look into your kitchen and say, oh, you know what, I have it over here. Let me try this first before I try an antacid, or before I try omeprazole, or before I try your laxatives. Try things from your kitchen cupboard first before you go for any other hardcore allopathic or any other medication. Okay, so starting first of all with mouth ulcers. The more consultations I've been doing at the moment, you will see that a lot of people, because of that stress, any kind of stress, they are suffering from stress ulcers in the mouth ulcers. Do bear in mind, just not that. Many people may also say that, yes, there's burning in the mouth. Every time I eat food, my tongue feels very sensitive. So all of this is excess heat. So for this, a few things that you can do is, first thing in the morning, of course, as a part of your morning routine or brushing routine, before you brush your teeth on 2 alternate days. On first day, do a mouthwash with turmeric and cumin powder. So the mouthwash with turmeric and cumin powder, it can be turmeric powder and cumin powder. Just put it in a glass of hot water, or you can even cook it as a decoction. Or if you want to put, you can also put just turmeric seeds and, turmeric root and cumin seeds. But, cook it, make it warm so it becomes strong. So do a mouthwash action in the morning at the time that you're brushing teeth. So that is going to be day 1. And on every alternate day to do oil pulling with sesame seed oil or coconut oil. So warm sesame seed oil or coconut oil. So on alternate days, one day is going to be turmeric and cumin decoction mouthwash. Then alternate day, sesame seed oil mouthwash. So if you were to do this every morning, it really helps to heal the wounds. Because no matter what, those ulcers are wounds. Turmeric has got very good antiseptic, antibacterial properties. Cumin has got very good anti-inflammatory properties on one day. But then the other day when you do it with oil, it is nourishing. It is soothing to the mouth. So doing these two on a regular basis will help. But then along with that, if someone is able to have something like, coriander juice first thing in the morning. When I say first thing, meaning after having your warm water, herbal tea, but sometime morning time, to have a coriander juice. So these two together will really help with mouth ulcers. Why coriander juice? Because coriander as a leaf, once again, because it is green, it has got all the vitamin B complex, because it helps. Then it also has got very good anti-inflammatory properties. It is soothing. So that combination again is very good for mouth ulcers. So that is first thing in the morning. Now the other thing that people may talk about is that they don't feel well, they feel tired, they feel exhausted, but along with that they are suffering from loss of appetite, no interest in food, or anorexia. So anorexia, do understand, can be of many kinds, but over here I'm looking at the one relating to the GI tract, which is more gut related. Do bear in mind we have anorexia nervosa, we've got bulimia also, which is again of different types, but over here I'm focusing on the GI tract, which may be connected with tiredness, exhaustion. Now if there is anorexia, then the best way, why is it? Because there is weakness in your digestive fire, Agni has gone weak, and hence no appetite. One of the best things that you can do for this is every morning, not every morning, but morning, afternoon, evening, before your meals, to have you'll see it on my blog deepapte.com, but I will also post the recipe. Let me remember so that I can post it on my stories afterwards. I call it the ginger honey chutney, but do bear in mind this ginger honey chutney you're going to be putting in warm water, not hot water. Because yes, people do ask me, oh, but you can't heat honey, can you? Yes, that is correct. Do bear in mind, we don't cook honey. Do bear in mind, we don't cook honey, but yes, you can put honey in warm water because it is warm. Otherwise, people tend to have it in cold water, cool water. No, it needs to go in warm water. So the ginger honey chutney in warm water, 1/4 teaspoonful before breakfast, lunch and dinner, 15 minutes before, because then that will help to stimulate your appetite. And then when you eat food, you are eating a healthy amount based on the strength of your digestive fire and your appetite. So ginger honey chutney, 15 minutes before meals. And if for whatever reason, I do know that if people are vegan and you do not want to add honey to your meals, then instead of honey, then you can also add jaggery. So again, so ginger jaggery chutney. So remember either ginger honey chutney or ginger jaggery chutney, 15 minutes before meals. One other easy thing also before meals is just to have fresh grated ginger. If you don't have everything all together, if you don't have this ginger chutney in the fridge, and if you want it for then and there, then just have some fresh grated ginger, put a tiny bit of salt in it and tiny bit of lemon juice. So that combination also to have 15 minutes before meals, and that is really good to help stimulate appetite. Do bear in mind, this what I'm giving is a gut remedy, gut health remedy, but if someone is looking to lose weight, so I do get clients who say that I want to lose weight, I'm gaining weight, but I don't feel hungry. So if that is that combination, then again, this ginger chutney 15 minutes before meals, or that fresh grated ginger plus tiny bit of salt and lemon juice is also good. So that is for anorexia if someone is not feeling hungry. But now is the exact opposite. Yes, they eat food, but then they may say that, after eating food, I feel heavy and bloated for hours, up to the point that that may lead to anorexia for next meal, because of that heaviness. So if someone is suffering from heaviness, we say postprandial, after food, then exactly the same thing now you're doing after food. That means the same ginger honey chutney, 1/4 teaspoonful in a mug of warm water, or once again, fresh grated ginger, salt and lemon juice, again, in a glass of warm water, but to have it for after meals. Wait for 15 minutes after you've eaten your food, and then keep sipping on that. Through that, you're gently stimulating that digestive fire. Once the digestive fire gets stimulated, the food is then slowly being digested and moves along. But one other thing, especially postprandial, if you are experiencing heaviness, after food, have this ginger honey chutney, but it is very important that you're not sat sedentary, because then that literally blocks everything. So after meals, even if you're in your house, if you're working, just go for a 5-10 minute walk. I tell my clients, there is no excuse. If you've got staircase, go walk up and down the stairs. If you've got 2-3 rooms in your house, just walk around all the rooms. If you're just working from your living room, just walk up and down for 10 minutes, so it is easy to follow. So ginger honey chutney followed by 10 or 15 minutes of moving around, walking, and you'll see that heaviness that you feel in your tummy very soon moves down. So that is about heaviness in the tummy or heaviness in the abdomen postprandial. Now the next thing that people do talk about is maybe because of the kind of other illnesses may be involved or anything like that, then it may be constipation. Do bear in mind today what I'm focusing on is literally home remedies, things that come directly from your kitchen. Yes, I could talk about triphala, I could talk about many other herbs, but this is something that comes from outside. I'm focusing only on things from your kitchen. So I might do another live chat to look into typical Ayurvedic herbal remedies for many ailments, but today I'm focusing on home remedies. So when we're talking about constipation, if there is constipation, then one of the best things that you can do is every evening to have not a lot, just tiny amount of hot milk, but the milk has to be hot. Add 1/4 teaspoonful of turmeric to it, add 1/4 teaspoonful of ghee to it. And when you mix it all up, it looks like yellow milk. We call it our turmeric milk or ghee, doodh haldi, literally, that is what it is. But so when you to put it all together, mix it, but bear in mind it needs to be hot, and have it every evening. Usually I used to tell at bedtime, and I was having a conversation at one of the courses last couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to a student of mine in Germany, and she was saying exactly the same thing, that yes, when we say bedtime, a person may be going to bed at 1 o'clock, so they may end up having it at 1 a.m. or they go to bed midnight, so they might end up having this mixture at midnight. So that is not the thing. You need to have this mixture around 8 or 9 p.m. because it gives the gut 8 or 9 hours after that by the time you pass stools. So I call this my Ayurvedic vodka shot because when you have your vodka tequila shots, you have it with your lemon, your salt and tequila. But for me, it is milk, ghee and turmeric every evening. Now do bear in mind, this remedy is really good, not only for us as adults, but it is very good even for children, for pregnant women, for elderly people, geriatric age group, because when they are suffering from constipation, sometimes to have these hardcore laxatives is not really good for their health, because it puts too much pressure on their heart, whereby they may have cardiac events, and hence something as gentle as hot milk, not a lot, do bear in mind, just small amounts. I usually sit with a mug of tea over here, but I don't have it, otherwise I would have shown you the amount. So hot milk, turmeric and ginger, ghee every evening for constipation. So do bear in mind that is constipation. Now one other thing for constipation, once again in the evening, is after you finished your dinner, to keep sipping on, I call it the fennel and cumin tea. So you can just heat up, you can either cook these seeds in hot water as a decoction, or in hot water you can put cumin and fennel seeds and let it steep for maybe 10-15 minutes and keep sipping on this tea for the rest of the evening, because this combination first of all helps to calm down the whole system. That means your sleep will be better. Sorry, I've got this glare of sun from front and behind. So yes, will help to calm down the system, because do bear in mind, it is only when we have good sleep does the system or the bowels, they will empty the bowels out, the stools are eliminated. And the combination of fennel and cumin seeds in the evening as tea will really help. So if you have your dinner around 6-7 p.m., that means from 7 p.m. onwards until 9 p.m., just keep putting hot water in that fennel and cumin seeds in your mug and sip on that for the rest of the evening. So those are the two simple remedies for constipation. I need to take them before I get on to the next one. Okay, now one other thing that I am seeing lots of people talk about is heartburn and acid reflux. In medicine we call it reflux esophagitis. So heartburn has become even more common, just like mouth ulcers. Sometimes there is a connection. So things that you may do for your mouth ulcers, remedy that I mentioned earlier, will also help for heartburn. But again, in the morning, if possible, for acid reflux and heartburn, to mix combination of turmeric and ghee. So 1/4 teaspoonful of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoonful of ghee, make like a paste. On empty stomach, have that from the spoon, and then follow it with a big glass of warm water to drink down. So drinking it down is very important because once again, it flushes everything downwards. And that combination also helps in what we call as forward peristalsis, meaning it is moving all the acid down into the gut rather than up into the esophagus. So turmeric and ghee with a glass of warm water first thing in the morning, but then likewise to have turmeric and ghee as a paste after every meal. So you can still have it after breakfast, but if you've had it first thing in the morning, you don't need to have it after breakfast, but turmeric and ghee as a paste after lunch and after dinner. And I've had a lot of clients and even a lot of my family back in India saying, you know what, I've tried so many different things, but this suggestion that you've given has really helped. That means within, I think it was 6 to 8 weeks, they saw it, acid reflux completely disappeared. So it's very simple. Turmeric and ghee, make a paste, have it after your meals, of course, lunch and dinner, but you can have it before breakfast on empty stomach with a glass of warm water. So that is for acid reflux. Now, another important one. Once again, I've talked about all the various gut health issues is based on what people are suffering from nowadays. So when I use the word gut health, do bear in mind, for me it is the whole of the GI tract because it's like a big long tube. So I just can't talk about colon. I need to go one thing at a time going downwards. So the other bit that I've seen people have said that they suffer from nowadays is diarrhea, loose stools, or passing stools more number of times during the day. And the causative factors can be stress, it can be anxiety, it can also be excess heat in the body, maybe there's too much stress at work, so it can be many different kind of causative factors for loose stools and diarrhea. Now, in Ayurveda, for this, the one that we talk about is buttermilk or chanch. CHAANCH. Do bear in mind, it is chanch, not lassi, because for us in India, lassi is a thick mixture of, yogurt and water and everything. But for us, chanch is a very liquid, diluted kind of format. So for that, all that you're doing is 1 or 2 tablespoons of fresh sweet yogurt, then add some room temperature water, or not cold, but bear in mind it needs to be room temperature water. Blend it together, and to that you can add either cumin powder if you want to, or you can add jaggery if you want to, or honey if you want to. But then to have this chanch 2-3 times a day, that once again really helps with your gut health, being diarrhea or loose stools. So that's the first thing, chanch or buttermilk. But the more classical thing that we talk about in Ayurveda to help correct diarrhea is, we call it anardana, which is made from anar, that is pomegranate seeds. So pomegranate seed powder. So if you think that someone has got an acute flare-up of diarrhea, which can also be in Crohn's and colitis, so if that is the case, then taking this anardana powder, so pomegranate seed powder. So best is, you can either get it from health food shops or Indian shops, or you can even make it at home if you have the patience, is to dry out the pomegranate seeds so that the pulp gets dried out completely. And then when the seeds are dried, then literally, pestle mortar it, or you can even put it in a blender to make it like the powdered form. So, yes, so that powder, 1/4 teaspoonful in warm water, to keep sipping on it during the day or 2 or 3 times a day. That also really helps. So first of all is anardana pani is what we say. And the second one is now very, very classical. Again, if you're at all able to make it, and this is more for practitioners, and keep it at home so that you can give it to your clients, but even for people. Otherwise, we call it, we use a name amchur, but do bear in mind, it is not your amsul, which is very different. It literally is the churna or powdered kind of form of the mango seed. I know Ayurveda has got all these weird kind of suggestions, but interesting ones. That is why I would say this is your mystic Ayurvedic secrets or exotic Ayurvedic secrets. So now when we say mango seed, do bear in mind, when you get the mango, you've got the mango seed on the outside, but it's not the outside one. What you need to do is you need to dry that big mango seed for a few days. And after that, when you kind of shake that mango seed, you'll hear another seed in the inside. And that is the one that I'm talking about. And if you can, once that dries out on the inside, just break open the big mango seed, and the one that is on the inside, if you can call it the seed kernel, Kernel. I think that is the spelling. Sorry, as I say, I'm Indian. Sometimes I get it all mixed up. But yes, that is a seed. And dry it out, chop it, dry it out, powder it, put it in your blender, and keep it in a jar, because as and when needed you can use it. So especially for yes, you can give it to children too if they've got severe diarrhea, or loose stools because of Crohn's, colitis, all of that too. So again, for all of that, then this mango seed powder, exactly the same thing, 1/4 teaspoonful in warm water, lukewarm water during the day. Now, one very, very basic solution for that sensitive gut, where people say, when I eat something, I am so scared because I might need to go to the toilet, may lead to dyspepsia, acidity, indigestion, or loose stools. Now, for this, what you can do is take the various kind of ingredients that you'll need is either lime juice or lemon juice. Then we use rock sugar, or we say candy sugar, cane sugar. Then a tiny amount of black pepper, then salt and water. So it is like our Indian lemonade. I've posted the recipe the other day, but the lemon juice that you put in there is not as much, just small amounts. So this is I call it our Ayurvedic electrolyte balance solution. So in warm water, put just a squeeze of lemon juice, then lemon juice, black pepper, then candy sugar, rock sugar is really important, tiny bit of salt, all of it together, and to keep sipping on it. And this also really helps with gut health, especially Crohn's, colitis kind of diarrhea, or food poisoning kind of diarrhea. It is really good for that too. Okay, so that was the other thing that I had over here. Now, the other thing people do talk about a lot is now, of course, gases, flatulence. And sometimes this can become quite annoying, because that may sometimes lead to headaches, migraines, so gases and flatulence may lead to headaches. Now, for that, again, there are many simple kind of home remedies that you can use. First of all is, as I said earlier, turmeric and ghee. Make a paste with a glass of warm water first thing in the morning, or even plain ghee, just 1/4 teaspoonful of plain ghee on empty stomach, followed with a big glass of warm water first thing in the morning. Drink it down so that it completely flushes out. But then immediately after that is to take some hot oil in your hands and massage your tummy, because that hot oil will also help to get rid of gases and flatulence. And this hot oil massage to the tummy needs to be done before you have a shower, because it is almost like you're doing your snehana and svedana, meaning hot oil application followed by steaming therapies is very good for gases and flatulence. So start your morning with hot water to drink with ghee, followed by hot oil application to your tummy, massaging in clockwise direction at least for 5-10 minutes, then going for a nice warm shower and some hot water on the tummy region too. So it will help get rid of the gases and flatulence. So that's the first thing. But then the other thing that really helps is hing or ajwain in warm water. So what you can do is 1/4 teaspoonful of hing in a glass of warm water to drink it as a herbal tea. Or likewise, you can cook ajwain in warm water, or even soak it in warm water and keep drinking it during the day. So these are two really good solutions for gases and flatulence. But again, along with gases and flatulence, sometimes people may suffer from abdominal cramps. And if that is the case, then what I tell my clients is make a small, we say potli or pinda, with some ajwain powder, ajwain seeds to be crushed down, with some hing powder in there and cumin powder. So hing, ajwain and cumin powder, make little, doesn't have to be big, just a small little potli if you want to call it. Then you can either dip this in hot oil and massage it on your tummy. I call it napi pindasveda. Or even you can just heat it on a hot plate, on the kitchen hot plate. Or me being Indian, I switch on the iron, and when the iron gets hot, I just rub the kind of potli side of that bolus, on the iron, and massaging on the tummy in clockwise direction. That also really helps to get rid of gases, flatulence ASAP. So that is for gases, flatulence is hing, ajwain. You can even make a little potli with hing, ajwain and cumin powder and applying it to the tummy. So that is about gases, flatulence. I'm just seeing other things that I've written over here in terms of gut health. Oh yes, if someone were to be suffering from combination of acidity, burning and bleeding or in the stools, it can be what do you call it, your anal fissure bleeding, hemorrhoids bleeding or anything like that. Along with that, if they're suffering from acidity and ulcer, if at all, if you can get it, I promise you this works wonders. Is sandalwood paste, 1/4 teaspoonful to make, if you can get that wood. Me being Indian, we have this little sandalwood at home, and we've got this limestone kind of stone, and we usually rub the sandalwood on that stone, make some paste. We actually use it for our prayers and puja. We apply it like a tilak on our forehead, but then the same thing is also used to be taken internally. So making a paste and taking maybe less than 1/4 teaspoonful of it, mixing it in some cool or warm water, and to have it once or twice every day. So that really helps with excess heat, acidity in the GI tract, but also helps with bleeding, hemorrhoids or even normal hemorrhoids, anal fissures, bleeding, any kind of bleeding in the stools. Not only that, it also helps with GI tract bleeding. If there is bleeding ulcers or even gingivitis, that is bleeding gums, sandalwood in warm water to drink every day is really good. Even otherwise, this is where I'm going to say, and I'm digressing a bit, but if you're ever thinking, I want to live a long life, anti-aging, I want to look young, I want to look healthy, then sandalwood powder or paste in warm water as a part of your everyday routine. So do it regularly every day. You will see that if you get headaches, it'll help correct it. Headaches, migraines, if any eye problems, it helps to correct that also. Any kind of excess heat, including things like, high blood pressure or even any cardiovascular kind of imbalances. Sandalwood paste in warm water. And that's the reason why we give sandalwood so much importance. We give it so much reference that we are actually using it. I need to move tiny. I need to keep moving every time because of the glare from the other side. We actually use it we pray to gods with it. We use it in our rituals, in our customs, because that is how precious it is for us. So sandalwood paste in warm water. So having it a few times a day. So that is another thing. I'm just making sure that I've covered things that I've written down over here. Oh yes, one other thing also is, because I'm looking at time, I've almost talked for 40 minutes. My plan was to talk only for 20, but you know how it goes. Now, if someone were to be suffering from a combination of indigestion, where they say, I don't feel good in my stomach, I don't feel like eating food, but I feel this, burning going down in the GI tract, going down into the tummy. And if that is the case, then the best combination is fresh grated ginger, 1/4 part. So 1/4 of this mixture is going to be fresh grated ginger. Then 3/4 is going to be fennel seeds, but in powdered form. So, blend fennel seeds to make it powder. To that, you add rock sugar. Bear in mind, when we say rock sugar, it is not your typical refined sugar. It is a very different kind of sugar. That, and then tiny bit of salt, not too much. So it's going to be fresh grated ginger, blend with fennel powder, then rock sugar and tiny bit of salt. Then once again, having 1/4 teaspoonful of this in warm water, or just on its own with water 2-3 times a day. That really helps to push everything down first of all, but also helps to correct any kind of acidity plus indigestion plus burning. So, and if you feel like that before food, then have it before food, because many people say when I eat food, it helps it make better. And because of that, sometimes people end up eating a lot of food because they're trying to get rid of that sensation. But through that, then they may gain weight. There may be more ama or toxins in the body. So it can be taken before food or after food, but it has to be around meal times. Okay, so that is about ginger, fennel, rock sugar. I'm just checking any other things. Oh yes, 2 more things before we go, or 3 more things, because I always write down so much over here. So anyway, now the other thing that will help now is a combination of coriander and cumin as a juice. So when I say juice, I like to call it a smoothie. Bear in mind, when I use the term smoothie, I'm not adding any milk or anything into it. I'm usually making it with warm water. So a bunch full of coriander leaves, then just a small stalk of cucumber, chop it, put it in a blender with some warm water. You can add some turmeric to it, and then to have this on a regular basis. And now this is very good for any colon related problems, which may be, it can be constipation, it can be diarrhea, it can be Crohn's, colitis, burning sensation. So this is one thing that is really good for many ailments. So it's literally coriander and cucumber, smoothie or juice with some turmeric powder. You can even add fresh grated ginger to it, and it is good for many different ailments. But the other thing, again, if you are able to, and if you have it, classically in Ayurveda we say to have 3 tulsi leaves on empty stomach first thing in the morning before you start eating or drinking anything, and you need to chew those leaves. Now, amazingly, having these tulsi leaves first thing in the morning actually helps with your oral dental health, because you're chewing. Bear in mind, tulsi has got very good antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, antiseptic properties. So if there is halitosis, bad breath, gingivitis, it starts from there. It starts helping heal that. But then after you've swallowed it, then because it has gone into that juice form, and then on empty stomach when you have it, it is really good for, once again, any acidity, ulcers, but especially for people who may be suffering from what is called a systemic candida, any kind of candidiasis, but more GI tract related, or any kind of, we say, kapha problems, that excess mucus, congestion, heaviness. So for all of that, tulsi leaves first thing in the morning. I remember growing up, my mom, unless we didn't have 3 tulsi leaves on empty stomach in the morning, and we didn't have 3 soaked almonds first thing on empty stomach in the morning, we wouldn't get breakfast. That was her first thing, tulsi leaves and almonds, first thing in the morning. So even you can do exactly the same thing. And now one thing, as we say in Ayurveda, whenever in doubt. So whenever in doubt in terms of your GI tract problems, then if that is the case, then try to follow fasting in any way or form that you can. Do bear in mind, when we say fasting in Ayurveda, you are not starving. So the best way for all GI or gut health, illnesses, is the healthy way of fasting is to have just one main meal around 4-5 p.m. in the evening, but then during the day to have plenty of warm drinks. It can be your coriander, cucumber juice, smoothie, or you can even have chyawanprash in warm milk, warm water, or you can even have, soaked almonds or something like that, but no grains during the day. So just one main meal. I usually say 4-5 p.m., 6 p.m. is because when people are working, it is not easy to sit in one place and enjoy your meal, and when we have that meal in the evening around 5-6 p.m., then it will help with your sleep also. And that main meal in the evening then will also help to correct constipation, because if you have not had anything all day and just a meal just at lunchtime, then the gut is empty for the next like almost 14, 15, 18 hours. Then that may not necessarily help with easy bowel or stool elimination. So 5-6 p.m. in the evening is the best time to have something nourishing food as a part of your fasting day. So fasting once a week, fasting every 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever helps, whatever that you're able to do. So the ultimate thing in Ayurveda for gut health is healthy fasting. Bear in mind, healthy fasting, not having lots of, as we do in India, sabudana khichdi or having potato made things. We don't have that. Our Ayurvedic fasting doesn't contain any of that. So that is the last thing that I wanted to mention in terms of gut health. Okay, so I think I've talked enough and I shall let you all go now. And if you do have any questions, do ask me now. Do bear in mind, in gut health, I know someone has asked about dandruff. If you want, I can do a live chat on dandruffs on some other occasion, but because this is focused on gut health, so I'm trying to just stick to that. But yes, next time I can talk about any other topics that you want me to. So yes, any questions at all in terms of gut health, if you have, do ask. Otherwise, I'll just wait for a couple of minutes and I shall say good day to everyone after this. Anyway, it's Sunday, and at least over here, as you can see, there has been a lot of sun gaze. When I move this side, it comes from front. When I move that side, it comes from behind. Anything for hiatus hernia. Do bear in mind now, when we say hiatus hernia, it is it is esophageal kind of acid reflux kind of a thing. So best thing for that is first thing in the morning, lots of warm water. Drink down, drink down so everything gets pushed downwards. For people with hiatus hernia, it is very important that there is no constipation. Second thing is correct constipation. Because once you correct constipation, hiatus hernia also gets corrected. For hiatus hernia, it is very important that people focus more on liquid foods rather than solid foods, because solid foods push acids upwards. So again, liquid foods, so like, our dals and khichdi, but very liquidy khichdi, or vegetarian soups. And for hiatus hernia, very important is after every meal going for walks. Walks is important. Then someone has asked about short-term memory and how can you correct that? Yes, I will talk about memory for some other chat. But for now, bear in mind, if you want to correct your memory, include plenty of ghee in your diet, food, very important, because dryness leads to dryness of the brain or nerve tissue. That may lead to a short-term memory kind of, imbalances. But other thing is to include soaked almonds or soaked nuts is what we say, but soaked almonds, between 3 to 5 soaked almonds in the morning, remove the skin and have it on empty stomach. So 2 very simple remedies to correct memory changes, literally now and here, like now kind of a thing. So ghee and soaked almonds. Any suggestions for IBS? Do bear in mind, I have not focused too much on IBS because according to Ayurveda, IBS are 3 types: Vata, Pitta and Kapha related. So based on presentations, remedies may change, but very simple thing that you can take on a daily basis to correct IBS is Triphala. Usually I say 2 capsules in the evening around 8-9 p.m. So have Triphala every evening. If you don't have Triphala at home, then even amla powder, half a teaspoonful every evening, so that it helps for that forward again movement of all the ama, because there is ama in the gut because of IBS. So Triphala or amla every evening will help. Do bear in mind, yes, if you want, I will talk more about it next time in terms of IBS, but I might need to do a specific chat on that because there are many different factors involved. So if you want, I can do a quick live chat on IBS next time for you to know, how to correct it. Definitely I can do that. So I'm just quickly checking any other questions from anyone else. No, I can't see anything. Okay. I can do Hashimoto's kind of live chat again next time if you want me to. But today we are focusing on gut health. Okay, so I guess I shall finish here now and I shall let you all go and enjoy your afternoons on your side or days, Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning on your side. And I can see all your questions. I will kind of, answer about burping and everything, in the next chat. Next time I will talk about it. So I'm just going to show you. You can see I've got my little painting behind there. As you all know, I love to paint. Okay, so I will let you all go and I will be in touch soon again. Thank you. Bye.